All right, welcome in. It's the weekend edition. The leans, the locks, we got it all here for you. So we appreciate you rolling with us. Look, we got stuff below me here on DraftKings. Don't worry, we have you covered. We've got a lot to get to, 15 games. So we're not going to start the clock, anything like that, 15 and 15, but we're going to try to keep this thing moving. That is the goal. Win you some money, keep this thing moving. We ask that you hit the thumbs up button, that you subscribe, and that you're part of this whole thing. And yeah, take advantage of some other stuff that we have. That would be nice. That would be nice. This is what's going on DraftKings right now. That would be nice as well. That would be nice. Let's go. We open up in St. Louis. Now, what I love about this game here, the opportunity to attack in the beginning of the game. And yes, you read that right. Correct. We are going YRFI. That's what we're doing. Yes, run first inning. Or in the case of, maybe how you're used to it, there will be a run in the first inning, over a half run first inning. However you want to break that thing down in this game. Here's what I love, too. It's not just about the pitching matchup, Turnbull, that we're looking at on one end here, Spencer Turnbull versus Adam Wainwright. That's basically what this is predicated on. You've got two pitchers in Wainwright and Turnbull that we want to attack, that we want to just like the offense and the both teams in the first inning. Base runners, you should expect that. Both guys, especially Turnbull, is going to walk some people. K rates aren't there for either of these guys. Both are getting hit. It would just make too much sense as we open up with our first play to go YRFI here. It would just make too much sense based on these two pitchers that there would not be at least chances. Chances. That's all we're asking for here. Chances in the first. Marlins on the money line. We move on. Miami plus 152. Look, this is a tough one here. Drew Smyly up for the Cubs. It's not the easiest matchup by all means for Brian Honing, but you're looking at just taking advantage of value. I think that's the bigger thing. Because this matchup would scream Chicago Cubs. Drew Smyly does everything but strike people out, and he's not lagging in that category. We're going to go with Miami here. And it's because you're getting such a big number on this price. And I get it. Like the Cubs come off that 4-1 win. Justin Steele was everything in that game. Won the lone earned run. That was it in that victory. We like Miami to bounce back. And probably not the easiest game to do that against with Drew Smyly. But look, all of the money, all of the expectation, everything. And look, maybe Miami should be plus 140, something along those lines. You're still getting a little bit of a break right now because they're going up against another difficult pitcher. So we aren't going to push with anything there and just take the Marlins on the money line. Move on. This is another one. Rays first five. You've got the Yankees who just pushed this game, pushed Tampa Bay on Friday night. Realistically speaking, at least, should have been it was tight enough that you could argue it was the Yankees' victory, snatched from defeat, but ultimately it was Tampa at home that snapped the 4-4 tie. So what changes? Well, you've got a better pitcher. You've got Herman on now for the Yankees, but you also have one for Tampa. Drew Rasmussen takes the hill here. Rasmussen comes in just dominating. Herman's got a little issues every now and again. Slugging is not where it should be, opposing at least. Man, but Drew Rasmussen is just so difficult. And we saw how it took the New York Yankees to kind of get going, right? Just to kind of get going from last night. They got some runs. Ultimately, it was okay. But let's be fair here. Let's be fair. The game right now in the first five will be carried by Drew Rasmussen, even if it's one run. I'm not messing around with anything. I'm just taking them on the money line first 5. I know I'm going to lay a little price here, but based on the pitching, Drew Rasmussen, it's just going to get difficult, super difficult for the Yankees in this game in the first 5. Maybe they open up in the third time around, what have you, but not the first 5. We go to Citi Field. You want value? Take the Rockies on the money line. I think that's fine. I think that is an okay play for Colorado to come in this and win outright. However, what we are going to do is a little more conservative in this, and we're just because at minus 110, I mean, think of that. That's a minus 110 split right there for the run line. So I'll take the extra run and a half. I need it. Colorado's not that good. Nothing is a lock, especially the Colorado Rockies on the road. Let's be fair here, right? So I'm going to roll Colorado Rockies money line. 8.5 would be the play. Here's the thing, too. Just looking at this. The Mets send a very beatable pitcher, Tyler McGill, up. Now, Austin Gomber is beatable, but there's nothing new there. Nimmo is the lone difference maker with 1 home run, 1 run. New York struggling to get some runs across the plate. They're leaving themselves vulnerable. Tyler McGill, not fantastic by any means. All of a sudden, you see Colorado just hanging in a baseball game. You give me 7th, 8th, 9th inning even, and they're down by a run, I'll take my chances. And so should you. Ultimately, so should you. This one's interesting, too, in the sense that I think we can attack it 2 ways. So I was like, you know what? Why don't we just do it both ways? Same exact mentality, ultimately same bet, just one's under first 5 and the other's just under in the game. And when I look at this here, Cleveland Guardians squad, first off, Minnesota comes off a pretty big win, convincing win from them, at least. And now they send Sonny Gray out. Logan Allen, on the other hand, has some interesting numbers for me in that what I would like to focus on is that ridiculous K to walk ratio, 35.6 to 6.7 K to walk. You've got a guy in Sonny Gray who is pitching better than Logan Allen from a metric standpoint and is also striking people out at will. The difference, though, is that he's just really tough to hit consistently. It's not an easy game for either team. We know Cleveland doesn't K a ton, but there are some strikeouts in that lineup. And there are right there at the top for Minnesota, too. Strikeouts, 2 pitchers that pitched to strikeouts. Offenses that struggled mightily on Friday. You know the drill. You know what we do. We target that. We identify. We hit. We go under first 5 and the under of the game. 2 big things that we want to hit. Over 9 in Pittsburgh. Go ahead. Put this one in. Just take it. Oviedo versus the Jays sending out. And look, Jose Barrios is not untouchable. Johan Oviedo, however, has pitched well outside of, like, he's pitching to contact much easier than he is just striking people out. Jose Barrios, great. We don't have to truly worry about, like, walks and stuff like that, but Pittsburgh's going to be able to turn on him. Pittsburgh, now, think about this. If Pittsburgh is getting 2 to 4 runs here, clearly you're going to need some action. I get it at 9 for Toronto, but just told you, really, with Barrios here at least, you know, you've got a good, solid shot for Jose Barrios to come in and just get beat up. I think the first one of these guys will be gone in the first 3 innings. And it's going to be a result of just an onslaught. And the problem is that when you send a guy like Johan Oviedo out, you're vulnerable in Pittsburgh to some extent, but you definitely are for Toronto here. So that's where I would go, is just over 9. I told you what's happening here on DraftKings, right? 21 or older, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, bet 5, win 150 in bonus bets. That's all. That's simple. Doesn't matter whatever the hell you want to bet. You can bet anything you want. Doesn't matter. Biggest, heaviest dog you can find. Put $5 on that. If it hits, it hits. If it misses, it misses. Either way, you get $1.50 back. Simple stuff. Simple. Yes, run first inning in Cincinnati now. The Chicago White Sox, Mike Clevenger, Nick Lodolo. Look, you've got two guys here from a stat standpoint, from like Mike Clevenger. My God, he's probably going to be the culprit, right? Like so far from what we've seen, awful K rate. The K to walk rate's just terrible. He's not pitching well to contact either. Come on. He's an easy candidate right now to be pushed off and ultimately surrender a run. He's going to surrender base runners. We know that. Look, Nick Lodolo comes in with a monster K rate. We know that K rate's going to be at or above 30%. The problem for Lodolo, as we've seen, is when somebody gets a hold of that baseball, it's coming in. We've Hunter Green, anybody else on this team, that shit turns around fast, super fast. You get, his walk's been okay. We're gonna go, I think, one more time, but we're gonna go YRFI. Looking at Lodolo's Ks, thinking maybe we should pull away from that, but this makes sense. Shop around, use Odd Shopper. You're gonna find the best available plays there, but I think that makes the most sense. All right, we go moving forward. The Royals first 5 on the run line. That's it. We're laying, what is it, half? We're going to lay on that. First 5 for Kansas City. A significant advantage. Brady Singer on the hill for the Royals at home. A significant advantage going up against Ken Waldichuk and the Oakland Athletics. I think the big thing for Kansas City is relying on Brady Singer's ability to strike people out and Oakland being a willing participant. Bunch of guys. I mean, Tony Kemp aside, you've got a couple of people in here that will strike out tonight. And I'm willing to take a shot on that by all means. I think that's the better play here. Royals first 5. Waldichuk probably going to get lit up. Not a lot of Ks. But outside of MJ Melendez and Michael Massey, there aren't many Ks in this Kansas City Royals lineup. Royals first 5. Bullpen comes in. It's a different story. We get that. But for now, we're rolling. Okay? We're rolling with the Royals first 5 run line. That's as confident as we can get on this one. Stay away from Oakland. Phillies -1. You can get it -1. You better shop. But you can get it -1. I'm pretty confident that when you're watching this video early in the morning, you can get it at -1. And we're going to take the Phillies to bounce back. Was a weird night in Philadelphia all around where fan falls and next thing you know, it was just a strange night. Bats were there. The bats will continue to be there. I'm staying away from the total. 9.5, I think, is a little more accurate than the first one at 8, which actually, ironically, did slam right on 8. Bradley Falter, Corey Kluber. I mean, give me just Falter in this battle, if you will. If you want to call it a battle, I'll take Bailey Falter. I'll probably look at Bailey Falter over Ks as well. But for the time being, we're going to have to just take the Phillies -1 on the strength of having, like it or not, the better pitcher with Falter. And that's where we go. Over 8. Over 8, Braves, Royals. Okay. Now, if you're part of the Discord, shout out to you. Appreciate you. We got roasted on Max Fried K's last night. That's my fault. I'll take that hit. Spencer Strider on the mound. So it's going to be hard, right? Kyle Bradish, like, where are these runs coming from? Come on. Well, they're coming, I think, for the most part from Atlanta, who we will see a little bounce back from. What was Friday night, probably more inexcusable than not, losing 9-4 at home with Max Fried on the mound. Dean Kremer out there, right? So what changes? I think in this case, it might just be a matter of pitching. Truly. You've got Spencer Strider that should dominate. Now, got some walks in him, makes a mistake or two. He's probably not going to be in there for 7-8 innings. As soon as there's an opportunity to move away from Strider, that should open things up. Bradish could get hammered in the first inning hard. Both of these guys, it's completely wide, the gap between talent, metrics, data, all that shit. But Spencer Strider a little bit, Kyle Bradish a lot bit, have the opportunity to fuck themselves in their team, and we're going to jump on that and go over 8. That's all. It's really all. Colin Rea, K-Ladder. You see it. You see it. That's right. We move on with the Giants hosting the Brew Crew in San Fran. Now, as I look at this here, Blake Sable, J.D. Davis, Michael Conforto, David Villar, where would I be going with these guys? You guessed it. Strikeouts. Colin Rea comes in with the ability to at least K some guys here. That's all that seems to be working. A little okay on the X batting average, but for the most part, what seems to be working or not hurting him, strikeouts. So we have a guy who can K some people. We have a guy who's got those Ks in him, right? Now we need him to activate it. This is where I think you can. This matchup screams activation, like your activation code. I'm going to jump on this, and so should you, especially because Milwaukee will be playing with the lead. Rhea's going to be able to pitch downhill. That's going to be fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Brewers on the road most likely get it, but we're building a K ladder. We're going to go over. I would go up 2 more on top of his total. Move on. YRFI. 1 more. I told you there was another one. Couldn't do that without getting out of here, right? I told you there was another. Let's do YRFI. And Arizona hosting Seattle or Washington, sorry. This is another one that I think makes a lot of sense from a pitching standpoint, right? You try to look at the pitchers and see where you can get in. Like Tommy Henry versus Mackenzie Gore. Mackenzie Gore's got some strikeouts, okay? Mackenzie Gore is able to get in there and KU and work the count in his favor. Mackenzie Gore is clearly the better of the 2 pitchers, but he's walking people. You put somebody on the bag in the first inning, that's chance right there. Those are chances. That's what we're betting for. Volume and opportunity. In this case, it's opportunity. And the opportunity also lies in Tommy Henry. Like, he ain't striking anybody out. Okay, let's be fair there. 11.6 walk ratio, double-digit walk ratio as well. Both, like, the likelihood is that both of these guys will walk a base runner in the first inning. Probably won't be both, but there's a better chance than not. And again, we're talking about scoring a run in the first inning. That should be enough, right? Padres host the Dodgers. The Dodgers. Now, what are we doing here? What would you like to do? How about that? Would you like to go somewhere else besides under 8.5? Is there another, and now it's down to 8? Is there anything else that you would think? Where else would you think would be even worth playing here? You've got May versus Snell. You've got 2 lineups that definitely have the potential to break out, but Dustin May is going to make this thing tight. I get that. He's probably not going to just coast through this, but I'm not necessarily sold that it's got to be a high-scoring game simply because the Los Angeles Dodgers are in town. If you get a decent game out of Blake Snell, that's going to mitigate a lot on the other side. And now it's just, what can Dustin May do to avoid being destroyed, kicked in the face? Probably not much, right? Just looking at this from 1,000 miles away. It's going to be difficult. I understand that Blake Snell faces an uphill battle, but the K rate is there, and he can just work around a couple of counts. This thing stays under 8.5. I don't have any doubt. Under 7 as we end with Saturday Night Baseball. Yeah, I mean, that thing alone, it's already dropping. Look at that. 1.5 runs. Oof. You've got a big opportunity here if you are either of these pitchers. Seattle and Houston, final game on the slate. You've got Gonzalez, and that's going to be a killer for Houston. Marco Gonzalez on the hill. Really, I think it's tough to get a lot out of him. He's pitching to contact extremely well. Strikeouts don't have to be there. JP France comes in, and this is it. Like, this is his start this year, right? First time that we'll see him with any metrics and stats and shit. Might take a little bit, I think, for Seattle to get used to a guy like that. Doesn't mean that he's brand new, that he's just going to get rocked and pelted now. It's a big misconception. It's probably going to work in his favor. And that's why you see this total already dropping. So I'm going to get in now. I recognize there's a little bit of a dip, but 7 is okay. And we roll. If you get it back up at 8, 8.5, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There you have it. Under 7, final play in Seattle. So we appreciate you rolling with us. Simple stuff, right? Thumbs up, subscribe, all that fun things, all the fun things that you're asked to do on YouTube. And we'll see you tomorrow, right? For Sunday slate. Have a fantastic night. Truly appreciate you being here. It's really all I got.